Today's video I want to distinguish between a hot deal and good value. There's many hot deals. You could find something used, maybe it fell off the back of a truck, or someone bought a new set of irons and hated them and sold them to you for half price. That's a deal, but it's not necessarily good value, because what if it's the wrong spec? What if it doesn't fit you? You never really got anyone's advice. I think good value is something you can be fit for, that is new, built to your specs, exactly the way you want it, grips, shafts, etc., for a very competitive price. Would you agree?
Yes.
Okay. In trying to come up with a few different items for this video, I really only ended up with like one or two. And frankly, the one I'm about to tell you is so much better value than the rest that I almost could just make the whole video about this only. And that is a set of Mizuno JPX Line 925 hot metal irons. So a 7-piece set of these, meaning either you want 4 to pitching wedge, you want 5 to gap wedge, or whatever you want, is $1,049 US or $14.99 Canadian dollars. And with that set built by Mizuno, you can get probably the best selection of no upcharge shafts that any company has. They also have one of the best graphite options I've ever seen that costs nothing, which would be a Mitsubishi MMT, comes in various weights and flexes. Normally these are about 100 US a club, depending on the company. Some companies sell them for less as an upcharge. And Mizuno also offers like 20, 30, 40 different grip options at no upcharge. A set of, call it similar performance, similar configuration and components from most other competitors would probably cost no less than $600, $700, $800 more for the set. These are about as good a value as I could think of, and that I'm saying it's the best value in irons. I think it's the best value that I have in the building. So let's hit some. This is the Hot Metal Pro model. So it is technically the most players type model. They also have a standard model, which is a little bit more forgiving, a little bit more powerful. Then there's the HL model, which would be good for someone that hits the ball a little bit too low. I'm going to use the model that for me would be the most appropriate, but as you'll see, they are definitely on the hot side. 7-iron. Seven-iron carry, 214. A little bit thin. Now, depending on the person that uses them, of course, you may consider a different configuration. You may not want a 4 to pitching wedge set of something this strong. You might want 5 to gap wedge. You might want 6-iron to gap wedge. It just depends on your loft delivery. That's an awful swing. Not that bad though, interesting. So I expected that to literally fly 30 yards further because I shut the face horrendously. It wasn't that bad. Spin rate was actually pretty consistent still. Okay, thin but good. The argument people would make is that these are too low spin, and that's why they're going so far. So I'm going to hit a couple just to show you if you went with a stronger iron like that and you want to bounce the flight back out with a little bit more spin, I would switch to a higher spin ball. So that was a left dash Pro V1X. This is a Pro V1X, much more spin. Goes up quite a bit. 57, it's nice. Yeah, adds a little bit more balance to the flight. A lot of ball speed out of these, very quick. So the 5-iron from this set is rather fun. It's very spicy. So based on the 7-iron going 210 carry, I would like, honestly, I think this can carry 240. Yeah, pretty close. A little thin, still good. That's nice. Yeah, this has the horsepower. So for me, it obviously flies like a 3.5-iron. But if I was carrying a 5 to gap wedge set of this, basically for $1,000, living in the US of A, you'd have to say you'd be awfully pleased. Also nice. Yeah, these are awfully good. The new Cobra driver, $549 USD, which is a little bit cheaper. Let's say it's about $100 cheaper than most other companies. The thing that I think makes it an even better deal is this year they have 3 models. So they kind of, I don't know, Cobra didn't really have the best forgiving model, let's just say, in the past. They have this Max K model now, which I think is significantly better. A better driver for a wider range of people. They've always had a super fast long driver in the LS and a pretty well balanced, call it X model driver. Maybe not the most forgiving, but always fast on ball speed. More complete line this year. They look great. More adjustable than before. The new sleeve is good. And I just think that they have probably the best no upcharge shaft that anyone offers. They've got this new Fujikura Pro that is available for the price of on the house. Okay, yes. Nice. 10 mil low, and the spin is still good. I would say in the past, things I would have been critical about with a Cobra driver were thin strikes, maybe the spin kicked up a bit, and high strikes or toe strikes were a little bit volatile. I mean, the spin dropped really low. A really poopy strike. Very poopy, but good result. Yeah, like low and heel is not a great place to hit a driver. That spin rate is still very good. Yes. Oh, yes. So 3 very different strikes. One very thin, one kind of heel, and one I would say that's pretty solid. Spin rate was pretty tight. So this driver would be, performance-wise, a lot like the GT2 driver from Titleist that I've been playing. I would have to hit them side by side to pick out any differences, but I would say a lot of the numbers I'm seeing are within a similar range. That's the one that normally is a bit of a nightmare. A little bit of a high strike, kept the spin in a good range, just went further. Wow, this is great. If you happen to be a higher spin player, meaning that the X model that I was hitting spins in the high 2000s for you, or even 3000, you may want to go down all the way to the LS model to get your spin down. It is less forgiving, obviously. All lower spin drivers are. But this is the driver I would use to get some freak show distances. That's going to be long. Oh, good Lord. This is nice. Yeah, so the average ball speed will probably be a little bit higher. The average spin rate should be lower. That's hit well. Oh. Yeah, the spin is very low. Wow, that's low. Speed is high, as advertised. Will you allow me to round that up or no? There it is. An honest one. Round me up to 350. It's the least you can do for me. It's a hell of a driver. Stock shaft. So the 7-iron of the JPX 925 hot metal, obviously it's very hot. It is hot metal. And it's strong lofted. We know that. Of course I could bend these weaker. I could configure them differently. I could use the high lofted model. Let's just say that for a bit of fun, these things are extremely high performing. They felt great. They sounded great. Average ball speed was over 140 for me. The launch angle was on the lower side, which is fine because there's so much ball speed. The spin was somewhat reliant on the golf ball. As you could see when I used a spin-near ball, we could raise that spin closer to 6,000. I would just have a hard time thinking of anything that is as good as this as a total package. Not just the head that looks and sounds and feels very good, is very well made, sexy in the bag, but to get a shaft like this in graphite for free, and the number of steel shaft choices they have from like Nippon and True Temper, Project X, KBS, I'm literally looking at it right now. The selection's crazy. And it's a nice little bonus that you can get, multi-compounds and different Golf Pride and Lambkin grips for free. Normally you're paying somewhere between 10 and 15 bucks a grip for those. You're paying shaft up charges. You're paying none of that with those. They are tremendous value. And then the 5-iron was almost 150 mile an hour ball speed, flew a few over 240. It would basically be like a 3.5 iron for me. A fun set. It depends on your loft delivery. Obviously, if you deliver low loft, you would want to go with the HL model of these. If you deliver too much loft, which most people do, then either the Hot Metal or the Hot Metal Pro would give you a better dynamic loft reading. You'd pick up some distance. and it's a hell of a set. Now, the drivers. The first driver I hit was this X model one. It would be the model that probably captures a pretty good section of the market. The Max K model, which I didn't hit just because it's a bit spinny for me, would be comparable to like the 10K models from Ping and TaylorMade. So if you want the most forgiving head, sure, this is not the most forgiving head, but based on your spin profile, based on your preference for shape at address, the Max K model is big and a little bit more upright, so for me this is probably the best choice. Very similar numbers to what I would get with my own driver on average, just kind of golf course numbers, kind of mid 170s ball speed, 10 to 11 launch, mid to low 2000 spin, and carry it over 300 out to 325, 330. It's a very good driver. The adjustability on this one's good. The sleeve is extremely good. It is very small font, and it is a little bit on the complicated side. You need the chart. But to be fair, it has the most options and is the most, let's call it, flexible of any sleeve that anyone's ever made. Now, if you wanted to either A, have a little bit more fun, this would be more like a scramble driver for me or a long drive driver. I don't deliver enough loft to need a low spin driver, which is kind of nice for me. I can play a little bit higher MOI head. But if you were so inclined to have some fun and or need to reduce your spin, this LS model is crazy. I mean, way more ball speed. Sure, I swung a little bit faster for fun. Hit up on it more, so we got some more launch. The spin rate is going to be lower, and you're going to carry it further as long as you can strike it about the same. It is definitely not as easy to hit. It's more sensitive on mishits. You're going to get a worse result from a similar mishit than certainly the X and definitely the Max K. For the last many years, if someone were to say, you have to hit the longest drive imaginable, what head do you want to pick? Often it would be the low spin model from Cobra. And at a price that is very competitive, they're very attractive this year. And so I'm very comfortable saying that unless something changes in 2025, the best value that you can get from a set of irons, it's a set of JPX 925 hot metals, one of the three models. The driver from a major company, which Cobra is one of the major companies, I think that for $549 with the shaft options they have, pretty hard to beat.